Today, I just wanted to share from my heart one of the things that I have come to just love and really appreciate about Pilates and the intelligence and intentional design of movement from more of an internal space that is expressed externally, but yet it challenges the internal. And that's really the idea behind Roots Mind Body, is that the physical journey that we all go through movement is really coming and can address, if you go there with it, the mindset and the connection of your mind to your body. And there's so many layers to understanding the mindset. It can be more of a coaching kind of mindset of self-development. It can be a mindset of healing emotionally and understanding where there might be things that physically we're being challenged to work through. And for example, I see a lot of times when people's forward posture can be demonstrative of somebody's kind of weighed down heart, or maybe trying to protect their heart, or feeling maybe a little scared. And so coming to that physical space of trying to teach them mentally to stand up straight and to open up their heart and to look at the world and the beautiful world around them can be so much more than just a physical strength of opening up the musculature, but also a mental training of emotionally coming to a state of confidence and connection to the mind and the body. Now, personally, one of my favorite exercises that I feel can express so much of these mindsets that really resonate with me is a chest series. And the reason why is because it demonstrates the idea of what we call a push and pull. And so as the pulleys are designed to pull, we are trying to execute the strength of pushing. And now in the push and pull, we really find a dynamic strength and length relationship. You know, I've seen a lot of people come in and seen a lot of people that, you know, in the world, they're so strong, but they're so contracted, and they can execute so much power from this space, but how much flexibility and length can they really feel in their body? And when we feel that balance of the strength and length, that's when we become most powerful in our strongest self. And so Pilates is really just a beautiful journey of being able to create a whole exercise system of connection when you allow yourself to the deeper layers and levels of emotional, mindful connection to what's going on, whether you're physically healing from an injury or a trauma, or emotionally, or just a lifetime of kind of trying to connect mind and body. That can be more challenging for some than others. And so this exercise series, it's a side series. We can do it seated and cross-legged. Today I'm going to do it kneeling. And so when I kneel, I'm going to be able to feel like I set myself up in an alignment space where I'm neutral in the pelvis, and where I'm grabbing my back rope for the pulley. Now my spring load is the lightest that I can provide. And here's what I like to say. If you need tension to find your connection, then you're always going to need more tension. You'll never be satisfied. You'll always have to have more tension, more fight, more of a reason to prove yourself, all of those things. And I see it so much, you know, with wanting to lift heavy weight and just do. And what ends up happening is we kind of actually end up becoming imbalanced in our muscles and also in our life. And so the lightest weight with the most intention is going to give you the deepest level of connection and also your strongest execution. And so now today, with kneeling, I'm going to start, and your hand placement on the ropes can be different for different exercises and how much resistance you want. So that's one of the ways too that we can create more resistance, is just our positioning. So our balance. Not only is neutral position of the joints the safest place to be when we think about movement, and the reason why is because when we're neutral, we're able to feel a little bit more athletic. The muscles from the front of the body to the back of the body are inflamed. When we find balance, then we are able to execute a movement in its safest range of motion. When we press and we come out of that to balance, then we're usually compensating and using too much of one and not enough of another. So I think of even just a teeter-totter, when I'm balancing here, if I were kind of sitting back here, I would not be able to execute as much powerful force. If I am balanced in the center and ready. And now if I were imbalanced and kind of forward in my hips and my posture, then I would be kind of leaning back, and if somebody came, I could go really fast. I wouldn't have much give to be able to fight that. So neutral is not only the safest, it's the strongest place to be, not just physically, but also mentally. If we are neutral in our space for the ability of kind of being able to evaluate and take awareness, we're better able to make judgment and decisions from a logical and also probably a prudent position. And so today, and in my neutral pelvis and neutral state of shoulders, I'm going to take my hands through the loop and just kind of have a normal state of tension in position here. So I want to be able to feel in this position, I'm going to allow the pulleys to pull me. But if I just allow them to pull me, I'm going to lose my tension. I kind of pull back with the pull towards it so I can feel my core engage. Now, as I start to push, I'm going to gradually feel that push, and I'm going to come through that rotation slowly. And then as the pulleys pull me back, I'm going to control that coming back. So the idea here is control as well. If I just come through that power of pushing, it's going to pull me back. If I really want to feel it, and I want to root down into it, and I want to feel how I am slowly engaging, I feel how the pulleys want to pull me, but I also feel my strength and want to push. Now when I push to that level of finding the push and the pull balance, then that is where I'm going to have my strongest connection to the core. And just like a teeter-totter, when you have the balance, the push and the pull, you have the strongest position at the fulcrum of the base, okay? So then, as I come back, I don't just drop it and let it pull me. I'm going to kind of fight it. And so there is that space in life, I think, of as I incorporate the mindset, and this is one of the things that I just love as I continue to move through this, is that journey of roots, mind, body is about the mindset and the body. And learning how so much of our movement can demonstrate the expression of an exercise. And what I mean by that is when we really feel the movement of being pulled. Like what in life is pulling you right now? And what in life do you have to exert just enough force of control to push through? Now if I'm always in that mindset of just pushing, then I don't have that grace of being able to be pulled back. And a lot of times life is just about being able to know when to push a little and when to fall back and pull a little bit. And when we find that push and pull balance, then we are staying a lot deeper grounded to our core. And so you can see how movement can express that just as much as anything. And as we put that communication and connection between movement and mindset, there's such a deeper level of healing and connection that you can feel. Now, other things that I like to talk about before we go into our overhead press is being always a pusher. Like if I tended to really lean into being a pusher, push, drive, like always going for it. But being able to be pulled towards something is kind of that drawing in of being attracted to something. When we always are pushing, we get worn out. We can get, that overwhelm, that burnout, so to speak, where you're just always pushing. And just like the muscles, if I'm always pushing and I'm always loaded, that is going to burn out. But if I feel that control and that grace of being able to feel pulled back, and it gives me that space to like observe, then I'm going to be able to use the pull. And a lot of times in life, one of the things that I've thought about recently with everything that's going on in the world is that ability to be pulled back when we need to pull back, and not to fight fight it, but to use it to know where we are, to really use the pull of things in life to almost draw you to the attraction of why you're being pulled back and not just always fighting to the push. So think about that. Alright, so one of the other things that I love about this exercise and that I use in mindful teaching to my students and just making that connect to an emotional level is our push and pull through overhead extension. So in this exercise, I want to be able to feel how I can push the world off my shoulders. But I also feel the awareness of pulling into the strap as I push. And when we have that balance of the push and the pull there, I'm going to feel how rooted I am to my core and where I'm connecting into my core strength. So if I just work the push, the pull would then make me feel really unstable and I would kind of lose. I wouldn't have any strengthening to my core. And it's really what I think we're seeing and we're being challenged with right now is lifting some heavy weight off our shoulders and being able to kind of know how to grow through some things. As I visualize kind of a tree, as those roots spread and they go through and they kind of spread deeper, they don't just go down, they spread. That helps us be able to push through the ground and grow. Now, physically, when I'm pushing through the arm and I'm also feeling my connection to the core, I am noticing how everything, my inner thighs, my abs, even the placement of my knees and my feet and that proper alignment is allowing me to feel grounded and strong. Then that comes into our other principle that I really love is an anchor and a line. So when you're truly anchored, you can create so much power in your line from the stability and the strength of your anchor. And so the question is, what are you anchored into? What are you grounded to? Do you feel like you know how to push through stuff, but feel connected to your source of strength, your anchor? And now, sometimes we don't just push through, we have to learn how to bend into the wind. And so as we learn how to bend, I love physically how I grow through, and when the wind comes, I'm kind of like that just wheat that learns how to bend, but make it look a little graceful and flowy. And then I come and I know when the wind comes, I know how to stand tall, and then I come back through. And so as we physically kind of just work through that journey, I like to observe, like, where am I in life right now, really feeling like I have to ground down, grow through, and maybe I'm just feeling I gotta be a little flexible here. I gotta be able to bend and not break or fall. And although it seems kind of maybe so foreign to you right now to put it all together, when we do put this all together in the mindfulness of movement, in the mindset, and the awareness of our alignment and our anatomy and what we're controlling, what we're turning on, and what we're turning maybe off or not using so much of, or not allowing something to be overbearing in a piece of equipment you're using, that you're not just coming towards it or not just pushing through it, but finding that ability to be dynamic and synergistic is really about coming more in tune and aware of how your strength physically is coming from a mental connection to your emotional state too. And so as we just kind of finish up with our discussion today about this, I want you to think about what you're being challenged to push through and to pull back out of, or to learn how to not just be a pusher, but to learn how to find that space to be pulled into something, and that attraction of the pull versus just the drive of the push, the ability to anchor into your strength and grow from your roots and find that beautiful space of where you discover a whole new level of strength. When I really find that awareness of the push coming up, but also the pull, if I was not fighting that pulley would just pull me over this way. Now if I was just pushing up, I would go over that way. So it's feeling like I'm so powerfully connected to my core, I can push, but then once I'm grown and I'm feeling so strong and the wind comes, okay, I bend a little bit. Okay, you want me to bend this way a little bit. Maybe it's not always bending in one direction. Maybe we're learning how to bend in another direction and coming back and bending this way. Learning how to find the synergy, the symmetry in our body, and then bending this way. So there's so many life lessons that we can learn as we connect mindset to movement. And when we do that, we learn how to connect mindset to movement, we experience a whole new level of something not just being an exercise, but it becomes this emotional journey. But also, I mean, if you can see, I got my heart rate up, I feel fatigued, I have definitely executed a lot of strength, and not just the push strength, but the pull strength, the control, and the ability to concentrically engage and eccentrically lengthen and back off. And so all of those pieces of movement from a science base are definitely in play. But all of those deeper, awareness, alignment, what you are aligning to, your deeper sense of awareness of connecting, being present. You know, if your mind goes, your body shows, and we see that in our bodies and anywhere. A lot of times movement can just be done, and it can be a checkbox. But the idea that I love about Pilates and the work that I do specifically is learning how to connect the mind and the body, to be present, to be fully aware, to fully encapsulate the whole experience. Like, what's going on with the people around me, the energy, the emotion, like what did I bring in, what do I need to let go of, what do I need to take with me? All of those pieces of this journey of fitness and wellness can be such a deep space. And that's when we see lifestyle change. So I encourage you today, go deeper, stand strong, stand taller, live fuller, and find balance. Live your best life ever.